We are tired.
We are, actually.
Tell me why we are tired.
Because we are dance teachers.
Yes, it has been a crazy, I would say 2 weeks.
Probably more.
Yeah. A lot has happened. We are very low energy today. It's been a lot, but in a good way. We've been rushing around because we had the first dance season performance.
Yes.
Which was amazing. And all this hard work has paid off. So sorry, it's been 3 weeks or 2 weeks. Probably at that point, it'll be 3 weeks since the first episode came out.
Probably, yeah. Sorry, guys.
Well, it's a lot.
Yeah, a lot is happening in our lives.
Yeah.
So
we'll try to keep it more consistent when we have a bit more time. We'll try to film a bit more episodes in a row. Right now, we're just trying to work around our own schedules, and it has been a lot. Because at the end of the day, we do a full-time job, we run a community group, and we still have our own lives, as surprising as that sounds.
Do we at this point, do we?
Question mark, question mark, question mark. I have lost my voice a little bit as well.
Oh, well, yes, that happened. I got mine back, but that happens after like a first performance of the season, and then you have obviously party.
Yeah.
And then you go and dance, and you don't sing along, you shout along.
I think we do that.
Yes. And that's why. No, there might be podcasts where we just don't have a voice.
Yeah, so we have squeezed this one in just purely because, we wanted to kind of keep some kind of consistency, and we don't want you guys to forget about us because a lot of you have texted us.
Yeah.
Leave messages.
Yeah, thank you, guys. We really appreciate that. We really do.
It was worried. I feel like we were a little bit scared to post the first episode, but to get that feedback was amazing. So we're going to keep going.
We're going to keep going, yeah.
We're not promising once a week at the moment.
At the moment, no. Well, in all honesty, the Christmas break is coming around, so potentially, but then again, apparently I'm a professional seamstress now, so...
We are learning a lot of skills as a dance teacher. So Eva have learned how to sew. So we hopefully will be able to get some costumes done. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
We'll see how that's going to go.
We had the first performance. It was amazing. And even though it was like a lot of work, seeing them perform, you cried, I cried,
yes,
we both cried. It was amazing. Everyone did amazing job. So there is actually a little a snippet video that I did of how we did. So again, we loved it, and I think everyone did amazing job, and we are still tired.
Yes, we are still recovering, and well, this week will be mental as well.
Yes, because we got a dance camp on Saturday, and then after that we got initiation, so we got a lot of work to do for that. We don't have a practice on Sunday because I feel like we need a break more than anyone.
I think I'm going to sleep straight 24 hours, just sleep.
This is going to be the first dance camp we're going to do for this dance group. It's only going to be a 1-day dance camp, but it'll be cool.
It will be cool.
Yeah.
Tiring, but cool.
Yeah. So that's our life in a nutshell.
Yeah.
We don't want to bore you too much because I feel like you're all here for one reason only. On that note, welcome to a second episode of Folk.Yap,
where we drink wine and yap everything folk,
which is our favorite thing to do. So I am your host, Leonette. I am Leicester Latvian folk dance group teacher.
And I'm your co-host, Eve. And funny enough, I'm also a dance teacher at Leicester Latvian folk dance group.
Double trouble.
Exactly.
Let's get into it. Last episode, we kind of a little bit gave a teaser about what we're going to talk about.
Yes, we did.
And this episode name, hopefully I'm not going to change it. I might change it. Sorry.
She might.
But it's called Dance Without Shame. And the pure reason for that, I think we both kind of had to think about the biggest, I wouldn't call it an issue, I think it was more like we feel like there's a bit of a stigma around dancing, and also a little bit about keeping traditions alive.
I agree.
So actually today I had an interesting conversation. I was actually on my day job, which is not dancing. I was filming in a show and I was having a chat with a guy from South Africa. And I was kind of saying, oh, I'm like a little bit tired because I had a long weekend. And he was like, what do you do? And I kind of told him what I do on my free time. Anyway, so I'm having this conversation about it. And he actually asked me a good question. And he was like, why do you do this? And I was like, I grew up with it. That's something that I love. And, everyone, I wouldn't say everyone does it in Latvia, but I feel like it's so much more popular in Latvia than any other countries.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Definitely. Well, regarding folk dancing, I mean, we can't really judge other countries because we don't know how it is there. But from our experiences, compared to how it is in UK, I would say definitely. Latvians do love their dances and singing and whatnot. But even saying that, though, I remember in a first episode, I kind of mentioned that for a little bit. When I was a teenager and I was dancing, folk dancing, my classmates were not all of the classmates, because I just realized my classmates are watching this podcast, so oops, whoopsies. But essentially, some of the classmates were it's not cool. You're a nerd. Why are you doing folk dancing? You should be doing something cooler and stuff like that. That's the reason why I took the pause, because I was like, I'm not cool.
Yeah. And it's actually what I wanted to really touch on, because it's there is a stage where you kind of grow out of it, but obviously there's that peer pressure about not doing it. And we have seen that actually happen as well, because I remember there was a guy that was really interested into dancing, and then a peer pressure happened by why would you do that? That doesn't look cool and stuff like this. And he wouldn't join us after.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was kind of heartbreaking to see that. And I think for us, we now feel like this is our life. Let's be honest, every single dance group think they're the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Sometimes.
Obviously, we are the best.
Obviously, we are the best. But it's it kind of sometimes makes me wonder, why do some people don't want to join? What stops them? And how many people I've approached, and there is, I'm trying to cover many topics here, but we're going to clear them up later on. There's a lot of times I speak to guys and there's always I'm not a dancer. I don't know, it'll be hard with me, and it's all of that. And then they join, and surprise, surprise,
they can do it.
Dance,
yeah.
and they love it.
Yeah.
And so there's actually my rule number one, which I always say, come to one practice.
Yes, that one.
Come to one practice, and if you don't like it, I'll leave you to it. Yeah. And funny enough, how many people have joined like that?
The majority of our dance group.
So yeah, obviously recently I have been approaching a lot of people.
Yes, you are. She's recruiter of the year.
I am. I got to do what I got to do for my dancers and for the dance group. And there's a lot of hesitation at first. And it sometimes a little bit breaks my heart, because I know if they go to that one practice and they try it, it's they're going to fall in love with it. Never have failed. I think maybe I've seen one person this whole time, not in our dance group, in other dance group, that joined, didn't like it, and didn't come back. But I have never seen anyone else come and be no, this is not for me. Because as soon as they come to us, we have a good experience, because we had 2 new guys join.
Yes. Recently.
Yeah, recently. And one of them just were really he literally was the one that said, not much of a dancer. And then you've seen him in practice. And actually, we were so impressed how well he was doing.
And bear in mind, he had never danced before, ever in his life. And he's 30-something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my thing as well with it is when they come to me and they're well, I'm not much of a dancer, I always go, But that's what practices are for. This is why we practice. This is why we teach. We have a hesitation a lot, which is a shame because you see someone that could be perfect for this dance group and they don't want to come. And it's a shame. So from your personal experience, maybe not even just from our dance group, because I feel like you've experienced it to yourself. What do you think brings that hesitation? What kind of is that reason why people do not want to join traditional folk dancing?
Well, first of all, I think it's definitely peer pressure. Obviously, we have seen it here. I have seen it back home a lot. And also what I think is for girls, it's like the fear to join because they will think, am I good enough? Because there are always more girls than boys in a dance group, right? And you naturally need to be the best to be like in the dances, right? And I think that's the fear. You know, I have had conversations with the girls back home as well, where like, oh, I really would want to go, but I don't think I'm going to be good enough. And I'm just like, just try it. Just don't aim for the highest groups in Latvia. Just go to the maybe a smaller group, just train a little bit and then maybe go, to the higher one. But back here, obviously, I feel like we don't really have a problem with the girls here because they are like, I want to try it, and I personally don't think that there is that fear around the girls. Am I good enough? Whereas with guys, different story, right? Sorry, guys, by the way. But the biggest issue for boys to come to a dance practices in general is laziness. I am sorry.
Yeah, but that is true.
It is true because I remember when I was a teenager and I was dancing in this one of the biggest kids groups in Latvia, and we essentially had age groups within the group, right? And my group was basically got rid of because of the boys, and then also we were put in the different groups only because the boys were just like, I'm just too lazy to come. I can't be bothered. And I can see that here as well. And I'm sorry. But I think that's the biggest one there. Obviously, peer pressure, a tiny bit of laziness, and a tiny bit of that fear as well, because they don't believe in themselves that they can do it, right? And they think as well that they must know something previously to do it now. Whereas that's not true. But
not here.
Yeah. But even in Latvia, right? Even that's what I'm saying. Don't aim for the higher groups. Go to lower groups. They will happily, with open arms, they will welcome you there and they will teach you all the basics and everything. And that's what we do here. But no one is telling them that. It's just in their own heads. They're like, I don't know anything. I can't go.
Yeah. Obviously, it's hard to get into everyone's head. We're not trying to group all the guys in sort of one thing, but this is kind of like the experience that we've sort of had with people joining and all of the hesitation and all of the, things. It's hard out there.
It is.
I feel like I need to keep apologizing to Alex because I keep texting so many guys now. I'm just like, hey, do you want to join? You know what? Actually, I have that moment as well where I feel like a little bit ashamed that I'm texting so many people because I the rejection as well. I'll be like, no, I don't want to come. And then I'm like, please come. But some people actually, when you have a chat with them and you have a bit of a laugh and actually they realize this place is cool. Yeah. And we gained 2 new guys this past 2 weeks. Woo.
Well done, Lena.
I know.
Recruitment queen.
I'm so sorry. I'm not even sure. We're trying to get a serious topic, but I think our brain is so tired.
It is.
We might look back to this podcast and be like, cut Cut.
Most likely, yeah.
Because we are in a full-on yapping mode because...
Well, but that's the podcast for.
Yeah, it is.
It's just yapping.
We're just being honest. I think, we're not trying to insult anyone or anything. It's just our experience that we've sort of had with recruiting and hesitance and stuff.
Sorry. We will cut this out, okay? But you know how we're talking about recruiting and stuff.
It sounds like a call.
It literally sounds like a call.
I don't think we're going to cut this. I think we're leaving this in.
It literally sounds like a cult. All the problems with recruiting.
The recruitment is hard. We have this ongoing joke, that basically a dance group is a little bit like a cult. And it does feel like it, right?
It does. It's fun, though.
It's a fun cult. Yeah. Join the fun cult.
Why not?
Oh, join the fun. It is fun. But let's be honest, it's not only the dancing that we're covering, we're also covering the folk and traditions. And this might be a really tough topic to have because we come across that quite often.
Yes.
And it's the fact that we are Latvians that moved abroad and keeping traditions alive.
Yeah.
And if you want to get yourself a little bit mad, go on that Delphi account, see a post about Latvians abroad and read the comments. Because people will go and say, what kind of Latvians you are if you're abroad? You're not Latvians. It is tough.
It is.
And not going to lie, we were hesitant about touching this topic. But we want to keep this podcast raw, honest, and everything that we are going through daily. And we kind of come back to that question that I was asked today. Why do you do it?
Why are you doing this?
Why are you doing it? You're abroad. You live abroad. Why are we doing this?
To keep the traditions alive, I guess. But at the same time, yes, we moved abroad, right? I moved here for my reasons. You moved here for your reasons, right? I love living here. I really do. But at the same time, I'm not ashamed of where I come from, right? And I really, really missed all the traditions because Latvians have a really fun traditions. Like, we really do.
It's a beautiful culture. And, ask Alex, for example, who has kind of joined me into this Latvian journey. And he's always like, we don't have any of this. And of course, I think people could say you are not like real Latvians because you moved abroad. But I don't think what people see is, as you say, we all had reasons why we moved. Mm-hmm. And not necessarily sometimes it was a choice. Like, I think sometimes it was just like you had to move. And not everyone just moved here because of money. Some people, they moved here because of life situations. And just because we moved abroad doesn't mean we don't have that love for Latvia. Because, as you say, I am absolutely proud to be Latvian. Unfortunately, Latvia was not... I did not feel like that was where I belonged fully.
And exactly same, right? So because I had a situation where I kind of needed to decide to stay in Latvia or move to UK, and I kind of thought really hard about it, right? And I just realized that first of all, I needed I just felt like I needed a drastic change in my life. And that drastic change was to move abroad. And the other thing was that, just like you, I just didn't seem that like I fully belonged there. And I feel like I belong here, and I'm actually flourishing even more here as a Latvian than I did back at home.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the reason why we are doing it, because just to keep the traditions alive. And I don't think that we are alone in this. I think all like other countries or people like that, moved from their country to a different country, right? I think they are experiencing something similar, and we are fortunate enough to actually have this community and, just express who we are, right? And don't because when you don't express who you are, you can be stuck in this imposter kind of a syndrome. And then you just kind of go inside yourself and you are not yourself, your full self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm obviously, you know, quite... When I moved here, I actually thought that I won't stay here for very long. I was just a little bit like, again, trying to find myself. I was very young at the age. I was 20. You know, now I'm 32. And, you know, I found my little place here, which is obviously my home. Alex, and he is British, so I cannot just move back to Latvia. That's not an option for me anymore. So we are creating the little Latvia here. We are creating that like belonging. Because just because we moved abroad doesn't mean we can't just, you know, we don't miss that belonging. You know, I actually had again, interesting conversation on Saturday. Can't remember with who.
Party.
It was a party. But I actually said this, like, try to explain to an English guy or anyone that's not Latvian, what is party with Grozi?
Oh, okay.
And there's like these, you know what I mean? They don't do these things. And I know that sounds for like a person that lives in Latvia, like obvious. It's just where there's live music. We bring our own food. We put it at the table. We sit at the table. We have a drink. We have a laugh. We snack from each other little food that they brought.
Yeah.
Try to explain that to like
No.
a non...
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
No? I never thought about that. I always kind of refer to these as like party.
Exactly. But it's like we grew up with that. That for us is that little belonging. And, you know, it's very lovely that we got these non-Latvians in our group that can experience it with their other partners. Yeah. I love the fact that I can bring Alex to these parties and he like feels like he's belonging. Yeah. He's actually singing along the songs now.
Yes, he did. On Saturday, he did. And if anything, Alex is always on the dance floor, even more than we are. Like, he's really enjoying it. And that's another thing, right? Yes, we are talking here about, like, our kind of traditions and why we are doing it and so on. But it's also about kind of not awareness even, but like, you know, you don't need to be a Latvian to enjoy these things, right? You can come to these cultural events. Yes, majority of them are in Latvian, right? But then the parties come, right? And that's where, well, I mean, the performance and everything else is also really, really fun. But I don't know, I just feel like our culture and how we see, like, you know, when we kind of gather together, it's just so much fun. It's different. It's different than like going out.
Yeah. Or going to the club.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go to the club. I want to go and listen to Bala Balozhas.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Kaya. Or do Genoveva. You know what I mean? That's what I want. And just because I live abroad, like, doesn't mean I should be taken away that. Because it doesn't take away from my identity. And, you know, giving that platform now for all of our dancers.
Yes.
And being able to create that community is... I don't think I've still gathered that fully. I don't think I've fully clicked to the fact that we are the people that gather these people and give them this platform, you know, where they can have that love for dancing.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things that some people texted when I asked them, why do you dance in Rokraks? And some of them were like, oh my God, like this is because like I've danced as a kid and I never thought I'm going to have opportunity again and things like that. So don't shame us, Latvian people. Yeah. We are just here having fun. So...
And keeping the traditions alive. Latvia is a very, very small country. So if anything, I just feel like everyone should be proud that actually people who did leave Latvia want to keep these traditions alive. Like, look at like the dance group in Canada. They are doing their own song and dance festival. That's just incredible.
Incredible.
And they, like, so far away in Canada, they are just keeping Latvian traditions, Latvian language alive.
Yeah. It's interesting as well because I always think about like what is the reason we are doing it. And I've always said it's not just me and you. I'm not doing this because of a short-term kind of goal, because I've said it to you before. My reason why I do this is because I want to create that Leicester Latvian dance group. It's not only us doing it. It's not like a little pat on our backs, like, oh my God, you did it, you created it, and, after Song and Dance Festival, it's finished. My goal for this dance group is that a few years, not even a few years, many years down the line, we've kind of created that legacy, and we've created that Leicester Latvian folk dance group community. And hopefully one day, one of the kids, either one that comes to the dance practices now with their parents, or anyone goes like, oh, I really like this. Do you mind if I take over? And we can just pass over all of our hard work, which is like the folk costumes and stuff like this, and be like, here you go.
Yes.
Do it.
And create legacy.
Create legacy. Because it's important, if we do it now, and we are that generation, the interesting generation, which is not the boomers, not the Gen Zs, the millennials. And if we make this cool and we keep creating it cool,
it will be cool.
It's going to keep happening.
Yeah, it's going to keep happening.
The dreams. It's actually, again, the interesting thing about it, because when I was in Latvia doing a dance school, a lot of dance teachers in Latvia were asking me, how do you do it in English? How do you explain the basics? Pamati.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's exactly how we do it. Like, polka is a polka, three-step, three-saw. This is a three-step.
Yeah.
And we work around it, because actually my biggest goal, and again, we can kind of go with like hesitations, because a lot of times people are scared to come because they're not going to understand it, because either they're Latvians that grew up in a UK, their Latvian is not as strong, so they're worried they won't understand, or like someone is interested in Latvian folk dancing, but they feel like, but I'm not Latvian. So we do want to create in our dance group that inclusivity.
Yes.
Did I say that word right?
Almost.
Thank you. I tried. That anyone can join, and we do want to reassure them that it will be taught in both English and Latvian.
Yeah.
And I remember actually having this conversation with one of the dance teachers and said, I know some people will question, am I really teaching Latvian traditions if I'm teaching them in English? It's a weird, I'm not sure we can even cover it today, because it's a weird, interesting thing, because for me, I just want everyone to be able to come and join and learn Latvian dance and Latvian traditions. The language that I'm using, I'm just using what works for the dance group, because we had situations when we have like a girls' dance. All the girls are Latvian, so I'm teaching that fully in Latvian. But then I remember when Alex first started to join, the biggest issue sometimes was the fact that I don't want to say that the other teachers didn't try to explain it in English. Well, I'm trying to say that mainly the language that was used was Latvian. So sometimes, even though he's a good dancer, he was not fully getting it. So we live in UK. Everyone understands English. So that's our majority of language that we use.
Yeah. But you mentioned about, is it really the Latvian traditions that I'm teaching? It is. And I will say one thing here, that we do live in times where diversity is so important. And I strongly believe that it does not matter where you come from. Like, we will, welcome everyone with open arms. We will teach Latvian and English. And I think there is no right or wrong way, because if anything, I want our community to be diverse. I want to share my love for like Latvian traditions and Latvian folk dancing to anyone who wants to try it. Like, it's just, again, we are going back to where we said about that we didn't feel like we fully belonged in Latvia, because that's where it is coming from, right? Because everyone is so used to this only one thing, and the one thing is the only correct way, right? Where I think you same as me, right? I think we kind of disagree with that.
Yeah.
And we are
the folk dance rebels.
Yes. We are the folk dance rebels.
Yeah. We are a little bit. Like some people will
We are
not
agree
agree.
rules a little bit.
A little bit. But it's because we're working with the people that we got. And it's okay. Like, I feel like maybe someone listening is going to completely disagree on us with this, and that's okay.
That's fine.
But it works for us.
Yeah.
And we're sticking to it. And in the end of the day, if we can teach anyone how to dance, and they can go to Song and Dance Festival and perform there. And because also there was a question, what are you going to do when they go to Song and Dance Festival? And I was like, when I was starting to think about that Brazil group.
When no one wanted to say about Brazil group.
No one speaks Latvian. They just love Latvian folk dancing. Yeah. I'm not sure what's actually there, like a backstory, why they created the Latvian folk dance group. But we were in a changing room with them. No one speaks English. No one speaks Latvian. And somehow...
They're really good dance group.
They're amazing dance group.
Amazing dance group. They are doing really well.
Yeah. So, in the end of the day, Latvian folk dance is and I'm not sure what's the English translation, skatuviskā dēļa?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not what it used to be back in the day when it was like Sudmaliņa said, all of this.
Yeah.
It's changed. And let's change with the time. Let's change with the situation. I'm not telling everyone now be like teaching English, but I also expect that no one judges us for working with what we got.
Exactly. And I think nowadays as well, it's just, it's just a dance, right? Yes, we say Latvian folk dancing because that's what it is really, but on a bigger picture, it's just dancing.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone would question if a non-Irish person dances Irish dancing.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? There is just like, I think there's still a lot of stigma to work through and around what we do and how we do it. And, we're not going to be able to unwrap it all today. And it might stir some pot.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Let's, but
this is I think this is the core of why we are also doing this podcast, is because we are here to really talk about everything that we have seen in our lives, about, actually helping other community groups. And as Liana said before, it's just going to be raw. Someone will like it, someone won't. And that's also fine. Because in the end of the day, we all have our own opinions, and that's absolutely fine.
But in the end of the day, if from the dance practice, all of my dancers can leave and understand what I was talking about, I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the goal. So if someone disagrees, I'm sorry. I am sorry, but I'm not going to change anything because I think what we're doing right now is working.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like we went in a bit of a deep talk, but I think it was important to say it. And but let's bring it back to some positives a little bit. Let's have some fun chats.
Yeah,
not just serious. And it's just really okay. I'll ask you this question.
Okay,
and you tell me.
Oh, I'm scared, guys.
If someone comes up to you and says, why should I dance folk dancing? What's the benefit? What's the good? What even is it? What would be your answer?
You would gain new friends for life.
True.
For life. You could, again, I'm going to cover this because obviously I'm apparently desperate. You can find even a life partner as a wife or a husband. I have seen this so many times. So many times. You enjoy yourself by performing and I think you actually find your true self.
Yeah.
But essentially it's just friends for life, and the positivity that comes around, and all the happiness. And I think nowadays we just need more of that happiness. And I think that's what any hobby really does. It just gives you just a bit more that kind of a happiness in your day-to-day lives, and gives you that boost for, at least it does that for me. It gives me that boost to go to work them 5 days, 9 to 5, and then Sunday comes, I have the practice, it gives me again the boost, and I just kind of keep rolling with it.
Yeah, I think I had a bit of a raw, not like a raw conversation. Before we went on the performance on Saturday, I remember I called everyone over, and I remember saying them, I was like, you know, this year has been like so hard for me. You know, again, we're not going to get into details, but you guys were the ones that like made me get up and keep going and bring me joy. And because of you, this is all happening. And I just really hope that this dancing is bringing you the same joy that's for me, because I can't get into their heads, but I really do, you know, I'm getting emotional. I feel like today is the emotional podcast, but, you know, I just really hope that everyone comes to a practice and has that joy. And, you know, so many times during this year, I've had it when, you know, even we're struggling to get out of bed, but I knew there is this group of people that count on me. I just think sometimes they feel like we are giving them, but in reality, they are giving us the feeling and giving the strength to go. And I even posted a photo saying, you guys keep me going. So thank you so much to everyone that comes, because we don't do this just for ourselves. Like, it's not for us, you know. Obviously, there's part that is because we always wanted to do this for so many years and now we're here, but it's not not only because of us. But I guess the interesting thing is, we mentioned it before as well, that come to one practice.
Yes.
And then if you don't like it, don't come. I said it before, that's my rule number one. Every time I text a woman, it's like, one practice. And I've still yet to see anyone that hated folk dancing.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, how many times people just got hooked?
Oh, so many times.
And the stories are crazy because, you know, Raivis and Zina, for example, they weren't even supposed to dance. They were like, we're going to bring a daughter. And I was like, oh, good luck sitting down. And now they are performing and they're dancing. You know, we can go back to Eric's that was hesitant at first and then joined it. And he is growing as an amazing dancer. And those are just few examples, because every single person in our dance group probably has a story.
No, exactly. Like Paula, you have a sister. Paula was just coming together with Eva to practices just because she didn't want to stay at home on her own. And we just needed essentially a human being to stand in this empty spot because one of the girls weren't in practice. And since then, she has been dancing, like, and it's going to be... Wait, it's more than a year that she's dancing. Yes, yes.
And she literally was doing like the hard part, like, you know, in the girl dance. She got put into it and her confidence is growing.
Yes.
And she is amazing. And I think this is the thing. People get hooked. Somehow.
So we actually want to hear from you who are listening or watching it. So you can comment on Spotify or on YouTube about how you got hooked. And it doesn't need to be dancing. It could be anything, like any type of hobby that you do. There was that one point in your life that you were like, damn, I'm hooked.
Yeah. All of a sudden you're part of the cult.
The cult. Some kind of a cult.
Well, no, it's not a real cult, so we don't get banned on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just a joke. Please don't ban us. But even Alex, for example, it was like, I remember asking him, it's like, will you join me in Latvian choir? And he was like, oh, I'm not a singer. And then a few months later, I was like, do you want to join the Latvian folk dancing? And apparently his story to that was like, I just couldn't say no. So I had to try it just so she kind of leaves me alone. And here he is. How many? 6 years later?
6 years later. He was hooked.
He was hooked. Literally one practice and he was hooked. So it's amazing. So that's why it's like, break the stigma, spare your 3 hours one time, try it. And if you don't like it, then the point of this podcast is going to be completely off.
But that's fine as well.
Fine. It's not many, you know, you kind of get hooked because it's not just dancing, it's everything else around it. So, yeah, try it. Just try it. Maybe our dance group.
or maybe a different one as well. It's fine if you are not.
Or maybe ours.
Or maybe ours. If you're not that close to us, as we are based in Leicester, there are so many other groups on. It doesn't need to be Latvian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can be any other culture. Guys, and the ones that are British and are listening this, you have Morris dancing. It is your folk dancing.
Or you can just come to Latvian folk dancing as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's absolutely fine. Like, and as you say, we're not just saying folk dancing, but if you are looking for that little belonging, a little joy in your life, try any community group. There's so many things happening. And even there's so many things happening in the community hall that we are part of. I know there's like dancing.
Yes.
Actually, it'd be quite nice if we could like actually share some of the events that are happening there, just because they have been like the kindest hall for us. So I'll share
loads of different things that I do there.
Any age, any any gender. There's like so many things that are happening there. So have a look, like try it, because it has changed and completely transformed our lives. It has transformed so many people's life, and it just brings that, because let's be honest, a lot of times we feel like it's just work, home.
Yeah.
And that kind of balances you out from that work, home kind of lifestyle. It kind of just brings that joy and stuff. And, it's only crazy if you're the dance teachers. Yeah, it's only crazy busy if you're the dance teachers. Yes. It's not as crazy if you just part of a dance group. I guess it's all about like the practice makes perfect. And we did say about like comment about your stories, but tell us more about like how you thought you will not become a dancer or a singer in the community group, and then it completely transformed your life. Tell us your stories, and we can then share those. And
it would be, we could actually, create one of the episodes where we just share your stories and just chat about them.
Yeah.
So please share it. Even if you don't want to comment on it, we can leave our email address. You can just send it that way, and we're not going to share your name or anything like that.
That'd be lovely, because as we said, there has been so many crazy stories about how people join and what has happened, and it's always been positive, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
And it shows a lot about what it can do to you. But our dance group is always open. We always recruit. You can join at any time of the season.
Exactly. And we are open to. You don't need to be Latvian to join. I am all for diversity, and. We have at the moment, Alex, who's British, Shema, who's Polish, and Damien, who's Hungarian. Yeah.
And if anything, we wear that badge with the proud that we do have these people that never even had a clue about what is folk dancing, and they are here and they're learning, they're amazing dancers. So, we proudly do that. We proudly wear the badge of our dance group as well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Everyone's done such a hard work, and this is why we're so tired today, because the performance was amazing. It was a hard work. It was a lot, but it was all worth it.
It was all worth it.
Seeing them perform was just amazing. I remember being just a dancer, and I've never used to be so stressed.
Yes.
It's a different kind of stress. Like, we were like literally hugging each other as they were performing.
We were. And I was just like, I was saying to Liana, I was like, I am so stressed. I'm going to be sick.
Yeah. But like when I perform, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. Because then I was performing myself, and I was just like,
fine,
all good.
But like when they were performing,
and we were standing,
we were like hugging each other. We were like hooked on each. Oh my god, what are they gonna do next? And they did everything perfectly. And they even, if anything, they did it like the best they ever done it.
Yeah.
And then we were just, oh my god. So yeah, it's amazing. So I think that's it for today's episode.
I think so. I think we have covered actually quite a lot, starting from the beginning where we were all giggling and we thought that we will not cover anything like really deep, but look at us.
Yeah.
We went
into actually, but we went into the deep conversations that we feel like if we have this platform, which is still very small, but still it's kind of happening, people listening to us. having that platform and opportunity to speak about our experiences is important.
Yeah.
And, you know, not, as we said, not everyone's going to agree to what we say. That's okay.
Yeah.
We just share our experiences and what we come across.
But in conclusion, what I would
Did
want...
you say wedding conclusion?
Did I?
Yeah.
But in...
Is the wedding bells ringing?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I assume so.
Well, anyways, but in conclusion, what I was...
There's no wedding rings.
There are no wedding rings for me. Don't even... Yeah, okay, no, not gonna even go into that. But anyways, in conclusion for the third time, what I want to say is break the stigma. Whatever you think that you can't do, you can. And just do it. Just do it. Oh, and Morty's here as well in the studio. Yeah. Just do it. Break the stigma. And those who have broken that stigma, leave that comment about how you got hooked up. And
to encourage the other people.
To encourage other people, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I completely agree. I mean, this was an interesting conversation to have, and we actually didn't know where this is going to take us because we were just like, we really wanted to talk about it, but we weren't sure, is there going to be enough to talk about? I even said it to you earlier.
Yeah.
Is there going to be enough? But actually, the more you go into that, you actually, there's so much to
talk. And there's even more.
Yeah, but our camera has been playing up today.
Oh, yes. So, yeah.
So I think altogether, with all the craziness that happened today, because it was a bit of a hectic filming, wasn't it? Everything just kept going wrong.
Yes.
But we still managed to get an episode to you. We won't make any promises.
Yes.
Because
we're just very, very busy with everything. But we really want to provide this content to you guys. So we will try our best.
Yeah.
And hopefully we will see you very soon. But before we say any goodbyes, just wanted to say that we did cover a lot of like good stuff today, I think, and very deep topics somehow.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to uncover.
Yeah.
Into there.
Also fun things. They won't be always deep.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course. But yeah, another thing is, don't forget about those comments, about your stories, how you got hooked up to do any of your hobbies, or send hooked up sounds like so funny, but it is like, how did you get hooked onto the community groups?
Exactly.
And or send us an email. We will leave our email address as well.
Can't wait to hear from you guys. And I think on that note, we just need to wrap it up today because it was a madhouse today and we still managed to do it. So
we need to.
Thank you for listening, guys. And, you know, hopefully to hear you soon, and can't wait to hear from you guys as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's tune out.
See you soon.
With the music.
Whatever the music was.